ball or what have you, a great change. But I mean, you got to be throwing 95 plus. So, what are hitters supposed to do? I mean, I think now they're just being overmatched in so many ways with how hard the majority of frontline pitchers can throw, and then they bring a guy out of the bullpen. Of course, the guy that beat Virginia, I'm sorry, the guy that Virginia used yesterday to beat South Carolina for the most part, the guy their starter, he was kind of he threw in the low 90s, but he had a sidearm motion to him that was a little bit different. And then they brought in the closer, Shock, who kind of had a little Louis Tiant move to him. He turned his back to the hitter and made it very difficult for the hitter to pick up the baseball. And he was very effective. So there's all kinds of different ways. But by and large, they're coming at you with this heat now. And the advantage has definitely gone to the pitcher here, if you ask me. And I'd love to see them do something to kind of flatten that curve out a little bit. I'm not, and look, I'm not interested in watching a home run barrage either. I just want to see balls in play. I want to see great defensive plays. I want to see balls in the gap. I want to see the hitter trying to take a second base, maybe a third base if at all possible. Just some action. There's too much standing around with baseball now. I used to be one of those people who said, quit complaining about baseball. That's the pace it's supposed to be played at, and don't rush it. But you got all these strikeouts where nothing's happening. And then, of course, you got the catcher going out to the mound to meet with the pitcher to stall. And he walks slowly back. He waits for the umpire to come out. He turns around. He goes back to home plate. Then the pitching coach comes out, or the head coach comes out to make a pitching change. I mean, you've got 5 minutes of no action going on. Then you've got all the stoppages for replay where you got no action going on. Baseball's got too many stoppages with no action, to be quite honest with you. So I don't know what you do, though, without you don't want to mess up the basics of the game, the purity of the game. But you got to do something, Smitty, to put a little more action in this sport. Well, maybe move the home plate back then. Go the other direction. Yeah. Come on, man. Stay the boat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly right. You don't need to be helping these pitchers these days. Let me update the scoreboard. So they're in a rain delay at South Carolina, Old Dominion, and Virginia. No idea when that game will start. By the way, there's a chance that Founders Park will host a super regional next weekend for the winner of this game, Old Dominion or Virginia. They got to play someplace because neither one of those can host. They could go to East Carolina, but I'm not sure if East Carolina is any closer to Columbia for either one of those schools. Well, it'd be closer for Old Dominion, but maybe not Virginia, not Charlottesville to Columbia versus Charlottesville to Greenville, North Carolina. I don't know. But a neutral site's going to pick up that super regional, and it could be Columbia, especially if this game gets rained out tonight, which I don't know, it's possible with the way the weather is in Columbia. Oregon, these are all championship games now. Ole Miss is leading Southern Miss 12-7. They're after 6. Oregon State is leading Dallas Baptist 5-2. They're in the bottom of the 7th. And then South Florida is leading South Alabama 4-3. South Alabama won earlier today, the completion of a game stopped by rain yesterday. They won 4-3, and now it's South Florida after 8 leading South Alabama 4-3, and South Alabama's the home team there. Nebraska, Arkansas to come. Oregon, LSU still to come. Stanford, UC Irvine, and Mississippi State has advanced, winning in 10 innings over Campbell. Boy, they cut it close, but they have advanced. They won 6-5, so they move on to the Super Regional. Okay, our technicians are still working on the audio problem, and let's take a call. Can we take a call real quick? Jim in Conway. It's Monday. It's summertime. I want to be on vacation. You want to be on vacation. Jim, welcome in. How are you? Good. Been talking about it for the entire 45 minutes. Yes, sir. Did you hear us earlier when we a caller and we just looked at it in last night's game that Old Dominion, the best hitting team in the regional, they struck out 24 times. Did you know that? They struck out 24 times. But you're right. The Gamecocks struck out 35 times in 3 games over the weekend. And let's see, I can give you a few other statistics from them. I think. Thanks for your phone call. I think Kingston's a good baseball man. I think that he showed his emotions more this past weekend than I've seen it in his time at South Carolina. I think he was emotional yesterday after they lost because of the way they lost. It was a tough loss. He felt really bad for his players, knowing that many of them will be moving on, and this was a golden opportunity for them playing at home to steal a regional, and then the way things were happening in Fort Worth would be at home to host a super regional. Things were setting up nicely. That's what makes it hurt. But you know, Smitty, you look back over the 3 games, and yeah, there was a decision here or there you could second guess. Did they stay too long with Thomas Farr the other night? He
directly answered them. He wants to solve these problems. He's out there looking for ball players that will solve these problems we're talking about, and he didn't shy away from it yesterday. He said, we have to get better offensively. You said the ERA over the weekend was 2.77. I can tell you Whitey Ford's career ERA was 2.75. So essentially, South Carolina had Whitey Ford on the mound for 27 innings this weekend, and they went 1-2. The hitting just has to get better.
All right, 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number here on Sports Talk. Is our problem fixed? Okay. So I wish I were on vacation right now because, we're having a problem, and I like things to be absolutely like you, Smitty, and like Pat. It's not Pat's fault. All you people who are blaming Pat, not his fault. He is trying to fix it. We can't figure out what the problem is. That's the problem. The problem is we can't figure out the problem. It's kind of like Gamecock hitting. Can't figure out what the problem is. And so I'd like to be on vacation. And if I were going to go on vacation tomorrow, before I went on vacation, you know what I would do? I would call my man, your man, our men at Jimmy Smith's, men and ladies at Jimmy Smith, James Smith Realty down in Pawleys Island at Pawleys Vacation Rentals. It is the place to go to find that special place for your long vacation. Like I would really like to go away for a month right now, but maybe you can't go away for a month. Maybe you want to go away for a week. Maybe it's a weekend, whatever the case may be. Jimmy can take care of you. He took care of Chris Bergen and the family. They are at a Jimmy Smith location down in Pawleys, Litchfield, and you can do the same thing. And it's the summertime now. It's hard to find a great place, but you know what? Let somebody do the work for you. Tell them what you're looking for. Tell them what you need when you want it, and they'll hook you up. Here's the phone number, 843-237-4246. That's 843-237-4246. Your perfect beach getaway is awaiting you courtesy of Jimmy Smith, PawleysVacationRentals.com. Okay, let's go back to the phone calls here in just a second. We're going to go to Andy in Columbia next. I do apologize for those of you trying to listen on the stream. We have a nice, large following on the internet, our stream, and I hate it when the audio is not working, but we're trying to figure it out. Is it Andy next? Andy in Columbia. Welcome in, sir. How are you?
Is YouTube down too?
Well, I mean, the video is working. It's our audio that we're having a problem with. We're just trying to figure it out.
That's the worst part's the video. Seeing you on
well,
YouTube.
Good. Nice to have you with us there, Andy. I hope you choke on your pastrami sandwich tonight. What else is on your mind?
Good evening to you, Mr. Korn. Welcome back, Smitty.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to number 25.
Thank you.
You are welcome. It's nice to have someone on that knows baseball. It's very, very appreciative.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, let me give you some. I did some ciphering today, and my Jethro Bodine ciphering came out to this. I took the number of runs scored by South Carolina and the number of runs scored by their opponent when they played a team that is in the NCAA. Plus, I added Clemson in just for Clemson.
That's a smart move.
111 for South Carolina, 151 for the opponents.
Okay. How many games?
Well, I didn't count the Missouri. I didn't count Georgia. I didn't count Kentucky. I didn't count the midweek games. Like I said, I counted North Carolina. I counted the 3 Clemson games, and I counted the Texas series, and I counted of course, the Alabama game because Alabama went to this regional.
Mm-hmm.
I counted the 3 regional games, and I counted the SEC series that everybody went to regionals. So, that's 126 games. Or no, I'm sorry, it's 111 and 151. So that's 262 runs over, 21, 24, 27.
What I'm trying to get at here is
about 35 games.
Okay. All right. What I was trying to get at was the differential there on average between runs allowed and runs scored. I mean, the average is not – the run allowed average probably is not too bad. but the run
The run
scored
scored
is too
that's
low.
my whole point.
Yeah, that's the point I think you were trying to get at, is that the pitching was holding up and kept them in ball games. And listen, Thomas Farr, and this is not the first time we've talked about this, but I mean, he really could sue his teammates for lack of support and win in court, because the poor guy went 3-7 this year, and he pitched like a 7-3 guy. He just had every game he pitched, he knew he had to be almost letter perfect, which you can't be. You give up a run or two, and it feels like you're 10 runs down because the guys just aren't stepping up behind you to help you.
He's South Carolina's Jake DeGrom.
Does he have that same problem?
Mr. DeGrom, he can't get any runs unless he drives them in himself.
Well, that's good then. That's the Mets, right? He plays for the Mets, right?
I believe the best pitcher in baseball plays for the Mets.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Couple other things. Hitting's nothing new here, correct? Hasn't there been hitting issues with this program for the past 4 years? Didn't they have to shut down for a comeback after certain series and go into do something different with how they were
pitching machine and all that kind of stuff?
Pitching machines, and I brought this up earlier with y'all earlier in the season. I mean, is it Stuart Lake? Is that the issue behind the hitting problems?
I don't know. I mean, Stuart's a popular coach. He's popular with the fans. He's been with the pro. Unfortunately for him, he is the hitting coach, and the hitting is struggling. So what do you do? I mean, look, Mark Kingston's got to look at these things. And is it the hitting coach? Is it the approach? Is it the talent? Is it I don't know. It's the technique. Smitty, you tell me. You've had a hitting coach before. You've been on a high-powered junior college baseball team before.
I absolutely think it's the approach, and I think Mark Kingston probably starts them early. It's a frame of mind. These guys have to go to the plate thinking in a certain way. See, once you get 2 strikes against a good pitcher, it's too late. Then he's got you in a position where you don't know whether he's going to bring the hard stuff or off speed. He's got you. You have to do this. This is off-season work. And I think it has to do with the way the kids are coming up now on the travel ball. I think it has to do – it's starting at a young age, and this has to change. It just simply has to change. And that's why I think the issue is Mark Kingston has to recruit the right kind of player, and then those players have to be listening to him. They have to be amenable to this approach. Somebody's going to do it. Look, you just talked about all the statistics for South Carolina. Notre Dame scored 50 runs in 3 games over the weekend. 50 runs in 3 games. They're doing it right. It can be done. I think it's neck up. I think the talent's there for South Carolina. Look at Brady Allen. Look at Andrew Eister. Look at Wes Clark. These guys, talent's not an issue. It's neck up against good pitching, and this approach starts in the off season. This is winter work.
All right, Andy. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy the off season with your Knicks, and the Mets will soon follow. And we've hung up on him, so he can't say anything about the Yankees getting swept. Talk about a team that can't hit. Talk about a team that can't hit. Oh, my God, the Yankees are terrible. Terrible. But that's baseball, Susan. We'll be back after the break.
The only afternoon local talk radio in Columbia is the Afternoon Drive with Kev. It's all about you. It's your phone calls. It's my challenging topics. All the news, traffic, and weather weekdays, 4 p.m. on The Point.
The Point. The Point.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters. The Food and Drug Administration approved the first new drug for Alzheimer's disease in nearly 20 years.
The drug is from Biogen.
Aducanumab, which is now going to be marketed as Aduhelm.
The FDA approved the drug, saying it was based on results that seemed reasonably likely to benefit Alzheimer's patients. Dr. Maria Carrillo is Chief Science Officer with the Alzheimer's Association.
This therapy slows the progression of the disease because it addresses the underlying biology, one of the hallmarks of Alzheimer's, which is amyloid plaques.
Therapy usually manages symptoms of Alzheimer's, like insomnia or anxiety. FDA advisor Dr. Caleb Alexander said no to the drug's approval. He said the agency has regulatory standards based on evidence, but in this case, He thinks the product got a pass. Ed Donahue, Washington.
Amazon founder Jeff Bezos has said he will fly into space with his brother on the first human flight launched by his space company, Blue Origin.
Jeff Bezos announced on Instagram that he had dreamed of traveling to space since he was 5, and on July the 20th, he'll make that journey along with his brother. Also on board for the brief suborbital flight will be the winner of an auction for a seat on Blue Origin's New Shepard spacecraft. The current highest bid stands at nearly $3 million. The world's richest man wants to pioneer space tourism, but has lost out to his rival Elon Musk's SpaceX when it comes to contracts from NASA.
BBC correspondent Rory Caitlin Jones reporting. The Justice Department has recovered the majority of a multi-million-dollar ransom payment to hackers after a cyber attack that caused the operator of the nation's largest fuel pipeline to halt its operations last month. The operation to recover the cryptocurrency from the Russia-based hacker group is the first undertaken by a specialized ransomware task force created by the Justice Department. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 126. More at townhall.com.
Tell me why Relief Factor is so successful in lowering or eliminating pain. I'm often asked that question. Pete and Seth Talbot, the father and son founders of Relief Factor, tell me they believe our bodies were designed to heal. The doctors who formulated Relief Factor selected the 4 best ingredients, 100% drug-free ingredients that each help your body deal with inflammation. Order the 3-week quick start now to only $19.95 to see if it will work for you too. Call 800-500-8384. ReliefFactor.com.
Hi, I'm Karen, owner of Lone Star Transfer. Now that life is returning to normal, let us help by getting you out of your unused timeshare. Lone Star Transfer has an A+ rating and hundreds of excellent reviews with the BBB. We guarantee the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. For the best customer service and a free consultation, call 844-284-4860 or online at lonestartransfer.com.
Republican New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik in an Instagram post announced she's pregnant with her first child.
The 36-year-old Republican conference chair wrote, "We are absolutely overjoyed to announce that our small family of 2 will soon be 3. She added, "We're so excited to share that we are expecting a baby this fall, and we cannot wait to meet our precious bundle of joy." House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy and former White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders were among the politicos who commented messages of congratulations. Stefanik and her husband, Matt Manda, thank their followers for the warm wishes, writing, "We are truly blessed." Bernie Bennett reporting.
If the auto industry is to succeed in its bet that electric vehicles will soon dominate the roads, it'll need to overcome a big reason why many people are still avoiding them: fear of running out of juice between point A and point B. Most public charging stations now fill cars much too slowly, requiring hours, not minutes, to provide enough electricity for an extended trip. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
And here's tonight's forecast. On and off showers possible until the morning. Look for a low dipping to just 69. Tomorrow, a 50% chance of more rain in the morning hours. Our high tops off at 83. For the rest of the week, rain chances diminish, but it's the time of the year for afternoon soaking. Temps will climb back to 90 or so for the second half of the week. I'm Brian Leonard with your On Point local weather. WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Please press button now. No, number 1.
Starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Please press button now.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil, Chris, and Pat with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, welcome back to the Monday from Hell here on Sports Talk. I'm only kidding. It hadn't been that bad, but we're trying to get everything worked out. I think we've got everything working now. Those of you listening to us on our stream, on Twitter, on YouTube. By the way, be sure to subscribe. It's free on YouTube. Everybody wants subscribers on YouTube, so subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can get us there, and everything is archived there. Of course, on Twitter at SportsTalkSC. And we also stream on Facebook at Sports Talk Media Network and our website, SportsTalkSC.com. It's all there for you. If you miss us over the airwaves, of course, that's the number one way to get us is through your local affiliate. They carry Sports Talk. We have great stations all across the state. Most appreciative to them. We want you to get us there. But if you can't get us there, you leave the area or they cut away for something else for some reason, that's how you can get us. And, of course, we have a outstanding audio stream on our website, SportsTalkSC.com. Just go to the website, click on the link that says Listen to Sports Talk Stream, and you can get us that way. Pat, what you got?
Just feel like I took a crash course in engineering via YouTube trying to figure out the AV issues there. Changed every setting, unplugged, replugged in every connection, changed the battery, did every possible means of communication into and out of the iPad to go out over the stream. And you know what ended up fixing the issue, Phil?
Reboot?
A simple reboot. So for anybody out there, if you ever have any issues in your home, your modem's not working, something with the internet, just unplug it, plug it back in. It's amazing how often that fixes it.
Yeah. A hammer used to do the trick, but now a reboot seems to be the way to go. So lines have opened up, 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery, lucky number here on Sports Talk. And been talking about South Carolina baseball falling short in their regional bid in Columbia, losing to Virginia after losing to Old Dominion after having beaten Virginia back on Friday. All three were one-run games, could have gone either way. And, the thing, Smitty, if you're going to lose a game, why am I hearing myself again? I'm hearing an echo. Okay, it's gone. If you're going to lose a game early on, lose that first game like Virginia did. They lost the first game, and that meant that they dropped into the losers bracket, but they had all day off the rest of Friday, and they came back Saturday. And what you don't want to do is lose that. Well, I mean, it's sort of contradicting what I'm saying here, but I mean, you're in the winners bracket on Saturday night. You lose that game, which South Carolina did, especially when it was delayed for an hour, and the game ends about 11:30. But you probably don't sleep much that night. And you got to turn around and play again at noon, while Virginia, which lost the very first game, played earlier on Saturday, had all day to relax, all night to relax and get ready. They come out much fresher, and it really makes it tough on that team that loses in the winners bracket on Saturday night. They really kind of have their backs to the wall because they got to turn around after a few hours and get right back out there and play an elimination game.
Well, there's no doubt that it's odd. The regional is always odd. The best thing to do, and we've seen this over and over and over again, is be the 1 seed, host, and win your first game. That's the key, and we're seeing, and you talked about there's a few home teams that have lost. Well, a lot of them have lost that first game. Then you've really put yourself, your back is against the wall, plus that mental pressure like you're talking about. And it's a grind, Phil. I was thinking one thing that we saw over the weekend for South Carolina, I don't know that it came into play, but I think Colin Burgess caught every inning of that.
He did.
Of that regional.
He did.
I mean, that's tough. That is really yeoman's work for Colin Burgess to go out there and do that. That could have come into play at some point, just a lapse in judgment or a ball thrown away at second base, because that would be exhausting for anybody. And, I know it was humid out there. I don't know if it was as hot as it usually is in Columbia, but that's the kind of thing that can come into play in a regional. And I think we'll probably see something like that come into play in one of these super regionals.
All right, 888-898-2525. Of course, we've got a ton of recruiting information to get to you, and we'll get to that after the break. Mark Kingston, USC baseball coach. Let's hear what he had to say after the loss yesterday to Virginia that eliminated the Gamecocks. It was a tight ball game all the way through, and a hit here, a hit there for South Carolina could have made all the difference. The Gamecocks fell behind 3-0 and fought their way back into this thing. They scored a run in the 6th. They scored a run in the 7th to get to 3-2. The 7th inning, of course, was huge. That's where Gamecocks really had a chance there. And you got first and second, Smitty. And this is where bad luck. I mean, baseball, let's face it, it's a game of skill. It's a game of great talent. It also is a game that hinges greatly on luck because you can hit the ball right on the nose and hit it right at somebody, or you can have a swinging bunt that'll go for a double. Who knows? But in the Gamecocks case, luck was not in their favor because you had that line drive back to the pitcher, and he turned it into a double play. And the Gamecocks still got another hit in that inning following that double play, but not a runner in scoring position. And it cost him. It cost him dearly. And it was just the pitcher made a great play to knock that ball down and keep his head about him and turn the double play. And it ended that big hope for the Gamecocks. And then, the last two innings, 8th and 9th, they didn't have much of a chance there against Shock. He was lights out, really, really good. Here is Mark Kingston, USC coach, speaking with the media following that loss yesterday to Virginia that wrapped up the Gamecock season.
Congratulations to Virginia. They were one run better, and they get to advance. I just want to commend my team for everything they've been through for the last 2 years, getting to this point. Last year was taken away. This year, they went through more than any baseball team has ever been through for a variety of reasons. And they battled their asses off all year. And so I want to thank my team, my staff, everybody involved in our program for making this a good year. Not a great year yet, but a very, very good year and one we can build on. Be happy to answer any questions.
David with the first one.
Hey, Mark, thanks for doing this. No, it's just right after the end, but looking back at this year, how would you describe it? What was the main problem? Just what was the best success you had? Just what's kind of the amalgamation of this year?
Well, clearly our pitching has gotten to the point now where we can be considered among the best. And we still have some work to do offensively. I think that's clear. I think doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out. We still need to make more progress in that area. But that comes with experience. That comes with a lot of factors, and it will continue to improve. But again, the total picture is it was a good year, but we won great years around here.
Ben Portnoy.
Mark, to that end, when you look back at this weekend, what are kind of the things that you feel like you learned about this ball club in the last, few days of this season, and what do you kind of take from this weekend?
Well, I just take that this was a very good group. The group we had in the dugout wanted to win very badly. They were committed. They made sacrifices. They stuck together. You saw no quit in that team today. This is one of the tougher games of the year to play when you're in this situation. When you're last night, you're a hit away from being in the driver's seat. It doesn't go your way, and you've got to get up at 7 a.m. the next day and play. And so that's not an easy thing for these guys to do. And our guys came out ready to go. But again, like last night, we were one hit short. We pitched great. Bullpen was unbelievable all weekend. But we were one hit short for the second night in a row.
Mark, you seem obviously emotional there. Just how tough is this and how frustrating a loss is this, knowing that the bullpen and the pitching staff was so great and the offense just couldn't get a timely hit when it needed to, especially late?
Yeah, I'm emotional because I care about these guys. There's a love, there's a trust, there's a respect that has to go along with coaches and players. And as I mentioned, the last 2 years, what these guys have gone through is and we're not alone. I mean, we're not the only team that dealt with COVID and all the challenges of this year. We're not the only team, but this is our team. And I'm emotional because we care. And I told them after the game that the pain they feel right now, years from now, they'll realize it's a blessing because very few people get to be a part of something so special, get to be a part of a brotherhood that they care about so much. And if they didn't care, it wouldn't hurt so much right now. And so there were, a lot of emotions in that locker room when we spoke after the game, but been doing this a long time. Those emotions come when guys are invested and they care. So that's why we're emotional.
Yeah, that seventh inning there with Satterfield up. First, can you take us through the decision-making process of deciding whether or not to let him swing or bunt? And then also, what did you see on that play? How difficult was that to watch and know, and see how that outcome came about.
Yeah, well, the decision again, decisions are only judged by did it work or not, and you can't account for unlucky bounces. You can't account for freak double plays in that situation. Yesterday we bunted and gave ourselves a chance to win. And today we did not to give ourselves a chance to win. Every decision you make is to give yourself what you think is the best chance to win. And the way that inning was flowing, the way Satterfield had swung the bat, it felt like the best thing to do was to let him swing. And he crushed that ball. And if it goes anywhere else, it's a hit. But somehow it turned into a double play. And again, when you make decisions, you need facts. You need a strong backbone to make those decisions. And then whatever happens, you've got to live with it. And again, you can't account for a bad bounce or bad luck. And that's what happened on that play. That ball goes anywhere else, and now we're really rolling. And instead, it turned into one of the more freak double plays I've seen. And yeah, it was tough to watch it. One of those plays that, as it's happening, it feels like it's in slow motion because you can't believe that it's happening. So it did, and we've got to live with it.
How hard is it the last 2 days to have been in position and had the players at the plate that have come through all year long when you really needed them and not be able to get the big hits?
I'm frustrated, but those are your guys. You care about your guys, and I know they're hurting. And so, at this point, your job as a coach is to try to support them because they're down about it. They wanted to be the guys. They were put in a position to be the guys, and we wouldn't be here without them. So our job as coaches is to support them and help them get over it's a heartbreak. It really is. They put so much into it. These guys have worked so hard. And when they don't get rewarded with the kind of big success you want, we got rewarded with success this year, a lot of success. But when you don't get that ultimate success that we were all shooting for this weekend, you feel for them. And our job is to be here to support them, help them get through it.
Mark, you mentioned the offensive struggles, and I know this weekend you guys faced a lot of different arm angles, some velocity out there as well. But, is there anything in particular that you can point to for why this team just, hasn't been able to make that consistent contact?
We just strike out too much, Mike. In this day and age, it's going on at all levels of the game. Obviously, the big leagues, it's an epidemic, and it's filtering down into college and high school baseball. Pitching has gotten to a point where it's more challenging than it's ever been. So hitters need to continue to adjust along with the pitchers. Guys need to find ways to just put the ball in play more. That's the bottom line. We hit for enough power, but you've got to be able to put the ball in play at a much more consistent level than we did this year. And, that's something that has to get better.
Virginia's closer, just what was he doing that made him so difficult to catch up to?
Yeah, he's been like that all year. I mean, closers are closers for a reason. Generally, when they get the ball, that team has a really good chance to win. He's just real funky. The fastball is just good enough. It moves just good enough. Keeps you off balance. It's tough to find the ball. He hides it. Had really good stats all year, and you knew it would be tough at that point. But until that last out was made, I felt like we were going to win, and our dugout felt like we were going to win. But he was able to get that last out.
All right, there you go. Mark Kingston, his last words with the media after the loss to Virginia. The other thing about that game, Smitty, is that even after the bad luck in the seventh, where the Gamecocks really had a chance to spin the game their way, they got the tying run on base in the top of the ninth. Remember, Malone led off with a walk. Myers pinch ran for him. If my memory's right, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought Wimmer tried to get a bunt down a couple of times, couldn't do it, ended up hitting a ground ball to second, and they got him out at second, so they got the lead runner at second. Next two guys struck out. So they never got the runner into scoring position because I think, if I remember correctly, I thought Wimmer tried to get a bunt down a couple of times. Then they took the bunt off when he flailed away. I think I'm right on that.
You're absolutely right. It goes back to something you said back in the first hour, Phil, which is, You jokingly said, I don't know why they ever try to bunt because they can't get it down. That's an issue as well. We were talking about approach and things that you can do to be better. Part of the issue is you don't need bunting's kind of like insurance, right? You never need it until you need it, until you absolutely have to have it. And then that's when you actually don't want Dave Parker or Reggie Jackson at the plate. That's when you want Brett Butler at the plate to move that runner, because sometimes the most important thing in the world is getting a runner to third with less than 2 outs in a one-run game. And that's the kind of thing that South Carolina has to get better at doing in the future. And that's why I think these are all correctable issues, and I think they're correctable under Mark Kingston. These are not things that he does. That he wanted Braylon Wimmer to get a bunt down there, and he knows.
Yep. Smitty, you're breaking up, and that's hard to do.
It's in a worse position.
We'll let you regroup there. You were dropping out there the last few comments, but we got the gist of what you were saying. So you go back and you look.
Oh, no.
No, you're good. You're back with us now. You're good. So you go back and you look at a couple of things here. First of all, the Old Dominion loss, where the Gamecocks, they had 3 hits, and this is when they were 0 for 13 with runners on, 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Now, it's not like Old Dominion was knocking the cover off the ball, but they did have 1 hit with a runner on, but no hits with runners in scoring position. I mean, neither offense had much to clamor about. ODU had 5 hits. South Carolina had 3. The Gamecocks left 10. Old Dominion left 9. I mean, they both had some chances. A lot of hit batters in that game. That was an unusual game in that you had a lot of guys hit by pitches. And it led to some extra base runners. So, but again, the offenses, they couldn't pick them up. They couldn't pick up the runners on base. And ODU was able to it was a 1-1 game, and Old Dominion scored that game in that run in the 8th inning to take the lead on a bases loaded walk. And, and that's where you question. That was one question that you would have about coaching. Did they leave Farr? Farr had pretty much eclipsed his longest outing of the season, I do believe, by the time he hit the 8th inning. I have to go back and check. But you could see in the 8th that he was starting to wear down. He gave off a leadoff single, gave up a leadoff single, then another single, and then they bunted, so they got second and third with 1 out. Then you got to pop up to short. All right, there's 2 outs. The decision was made to intentionally walk Kootenai, who'd hit the home run in the 2nd inning. They made the decision to walk him. So now you've got a tiring pitcher. You've got the bases loaded. There's no room for error in a 1-1 game. You really put the pressure on your pitcher there. And he walked Tommy Bell on a 3-2 pitch to force in what turned out to be the winning run. And then they brought in Sanders, and Sanders struck out the last guy. So the question is, did they stay too long with Farr in that case, Smitty?
Corn, we may have lost. Oh, there
perhaps, but I actually want to couch my comments by I want to couch my comments by saying it's hard to talk about defense, coaching, or pitching in a game where you score 1 run. So you're right. I might have handled that differently if I were, advising Mark Kingston. I might say, you know what, let's not walk the guy here, or let's pull Farr. Yeah, those thoughts went through my head like you as it was playing out. But I want to be careful because that's one element of a baseball game. But you weren't going to beat them 1-0. It seemed like South Carolina could have hit all night and they weren't scoring the second run. That's truly the issue. But I don't disagree that I didn't love the way that was handled. And you're right about putting so much pressure on with the intentional walk. It's different. When you pitch with the bases loaded, any pitcher will tell you that's a different situation because the margin for error is completely gone.
Well, you look at the 2 losses. The Gamecocks were a combined 3 for 28 with runners on the bases. 3 for 28, and they did not have a hit combined in either game with a runner in scoring position. So, that's why you lose one-run, low-scoring games. You get the great pitching, but the situational hitting, it just wasn't there for the Gamecocks, and it wasn't there throughout most of their season. And you are what you are by the time you get to the postseason. You're a great pitching team. You're barring injury, you're going to be a great pitching team. You're a great hitting team. You're going to be a great hitting team. Like you mentioned, Notre Dame, they're a great hitting team. They're showing it in their regional. Now, Old Dominion is a great hitting team, but they really haven't showed it in the regional. Their offense has been stymied quite a bit. Maybe they're running into a little bit higher brand of pitching. This is a team that hit 101 home runs in the regular season against their level of pitching. Maybe they're hitting or finding the pitching at this level, a level of competition, to be a little bit more difficult to deal with. They're still in a rain delay in Columbia, so I don't know when they're going to start. Update some other scores. Bottom of the 8th, Ole Miss leading Southern Miss 12-9. These are all championship bracket games for regionals. Dallas Baptist is leading Oregon State 8-5. So Dallas Baptist will play if they win, whoever wins this game. This is the bottom of the 8th. They're up 8-5. They'll play the winner of the Columbia Regional. Nebraska has a 1-0 lead at Arkansas, top of the 2nd. Anybody want to wager that lead will hold up, Smitty?
No, I still like Arkansas. They're one of the best teams I've seen all season long. I don't know who I would pick. Before the season began, I picked Ole Miss to win the College World Series, but Arkansas looks great. And how do you bet against Vanderbilt knowing they can run rocker and lighter out there at you as well? They're going to be fun to watch in a super regional.
South Florida's moving on. They did beat Alabama 6-4 in that showdown. Did I say Alabama? South Alabama. South Florida beat South Alabama 6-4. They're moving on. Mississippi State won its regional at home in a dogfight with Campbell, in a camel fight with Campbell, Bulldogs and Camels. And in 10 innings, Mississippi State won it 6-5. So you got Oregon, LSU, Stanford, Irvine, and Old Dominion, Virginia still to be determined. So we take a look at the bracket now as it stands at this point in time, looking at who has moved forward in the matchups in the supers. So NC State has moved on and will play the winner of Arkansas and Nebraska. And if Arkansas wins, it'll be there. And if Nebraska wins, neither of those teams, I believe, was in the 20 to host. I don't think NC State was in the 20 to host, were they? Don't know where they'd go. Don't know where they'd go. Texas Tech is in, waiting to play the winner of Stanford and Irvine. Arizona is in, awaiting the winner of Ole Miss, Southern Miss, probably going to be Ole Miss. And that, both of those teams were hosts, but Arizona is the higher seed. So it'll be at Arizona, national seed to go to Arizona. East Carolina, Vanderbilt in Nashville. That should be fun.
That's going to be great.
Yeah.
That's going to be – East Carolina is not like your standard mid-major club. East Carolina plays like a big boy power conference. They recruit that way to Greenville, North Carolina, and they play that way. Vanderbilt has their hands full. But you still have to like Vandy because of the two pitchers they can roll out there. Ask Presbyterian College what Kumar Rocker looks like. Come at you.
Texas and South Florida. Texas and South Florida paired. Mississippi State and Notre Dame will be paired, and Tennessee is waiting on the Oregon LSU winner. Be back.
Hi, this is Kevin Cohen. I'm the owner, the general manager here at The Point. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned is to partner with great people. To that end, I'm looking to partner in the upcoming months with like-minded business owners, people who want to grow their respective businesses. Would you consider meeting with me in the very near future to discuss how The Point can partner with you so that you can exceed your own expectations in the coming year? Let's sit down over a glass of tea, a cup of coffee. Let's talk about how your business and my business can work together to meet our collective goals. I'm not looking simply for advertisers. I can find them by simply cold calling people a few times a week. What I'm looking for are business partners who share the vision that I have for my own small business. That vision is very simple. Local businesses need to support local businesses, period. If you have an interest in telling people about your business via the radio, let's make it happen affordably and local. Call me directly, 563-8558, 563-8558. I'd appreciate the chance to meet with you. Maybe we can help each other.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The New Mexico Supreme Court says that the state has no obligation to compensate businesses for financial losses and expenses due to emergency health orders during the COVID-19 pandemic. The unanimous opinion Monday scuttles about 20 lawsuits filed last year in district court. The original plaintiffs argued that aggressive health restrictions from the state government constituted a regulatory taking, much like the taking of land for public works projects. Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham had urged the Supreme Court to block the lawsuits. The governor has signed into law a variety of temporary grants, minimal interest loans, and tax breaks for businesses in response to the pandemic. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 126 points, the Nasdaq rose 67, the S&P declined 3. This is SRN News.
Are you ready to make your money work for you rather than you working for your money? Dave Ramsey here. Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union, serving the Midlands since 1936. Palmetto Citizens is not a mega bank, so you can count on good old-fashioned customer service and the profits going back to you. Plus, they care about your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org, federally insured by the NCUA.
Spring is more than pollen season. It also means it's termite season. Palmetto Exterminators offers a free inspection at your home to determine any possible issues. Palmetto Exterminators offers the best termite agreement anywhere, but they do so much more. They offer complete pest control, mosquito control, wildlife trapping and removal, and nobody, I mean nobody, can offer you more peace of mind at your home or business. Now, how do I know that? Well, I never tell you to use someone like Palmetto Exterminators unless I practice what I preach. Now, I've been a customer for 19 years, and they are wonderful. My guy, Ron Byers, and his team over at Palmetto Exterminators, they've looked after my family forever. We have no pest control issues whatsoever. But if we did, all it takes is one phone call, and Palmetto Exterminators will fix it. It's pretty simple. Call Palmetto Exterminators and cross pest control right off your list of concerns. Online, it's palmettoexterminators.net, or give my guy Ron a call, 254-5833.
Have you fallen behind on your taxes and might be facing IRS penalties? Have wage garnishments, levies, or liens? Have unfiled tax returns? You want someone local and qualified. Don't fall for those national spots. Meet with me, Teresa, at Capital City Professional Services, and let me help you through your tax maze. I can help with all your tax resolution issues. There are options to get you back on track. Call Capital City Professional Services, 400-8683. That's 400-8683.
Is that crack in your windshield or your house bothering you?
Have you been meaning to have it replaced but just can't find the time?
Call Absolute Glass, voted Lexington's best glass shop for 12 years in a row.
We repair and replace glass on all makes and models.
We're the only local high-end auto glass specialist in the Midlands, and we'll come to you to make the process quick and easy.
With new technologies and vehicles, we can recalibrate your vehicle back to new.
Visit AbsoluteGlassInc.com to learn more about our auto, home, and business glass services. Just remember, if you can see through it, we can do it.
Someone will be right with you. Please continue to hold.
The Point.
All right, let's do the recruiting report. We got a lot of it after a busy recruiting weekend. It's brought to you by Seawells. Don't forget Seawells got their daily luncheon buffet for you every day, Monday through Friday. Absolutely superb. And we'd recommend it highly. Get yourself a meat and 3, or get yourself, you can do 2 meats and 3 if you want. They really don't care. They're not there. They're not like Kerry Tharp when you go do the lap thing at Darlington where you pay to do 3 laps. They're not like Kerry sitting there watching you do every lap. Okay. You know, if you go over 3 laps, they're going to pull you over and fine you. You can go do 2 meats. You can do 2 meats, 3 vegetables, 4 vegetables, a salad, whatever you want. Plus, of course, a great beverage and a dessert that is delicious as well. That's every day, 11 till 2. The best in the catering business as well. That is Seawells. You're getting ready now. People are starting to have parties and gatherings and functions and important events, and you need a place to go to hold your event. That's Seawells. They got plenty of space. Beautiful facility on Rosewood Drive, and they'll come to you as well and help you host at your location. 803-771-7385 is the number, and the email address, the website. The website is SeawellsCateringSC.com, SeawellsCateringSC.com. The email is SeawellsCatering@gmail.com. And don't forget, they are selling parking spaces for the upcoming USC football season. You can tailgate there. So jump on that if you need a place to park this upcoming season. So as you might imagine, we've got a ton of recruiting information. A lot of things happening over the weekend. The biggest name to visit either South Carolina or Clemson over the weekend was obviously the 5-star 2023 quarterback Arch Manning, 6'4", 200, from New Orleans, concluded his stop at Clemson on Sunday, a 2-day stay. He arrived Saturday, participated in camp, then went on an unofficial visit, culminating with dinner at Dabo Swinney's home. He's the grandson of Archie Manning, the son of Cooper Manning. This was the first stop for him of June. He also plans to go to SMU, Texas, Alabama, and Georgia. Last season, he passed for 1,922 yards, 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. David Hood, our buddy at TigerNet, who covers Clemson's camps as well as anybody, and he likes to kind of evaluate the talent, evaluate the players. I mean, he wrote that Arch Manning has got it as far as what they saw in camp, what they were able to see. And there was video of him throwing at the Clemson camp. I mean, I don't know. He comes from great background, of course. He's got a really good size. He's going to be well-schooled in playing quarterback. He's got the best quarterback tutors you can ever have. And he's got talent. So I think Clemson, Smitty, if you're Clemson and if you can get Arch Manning to follow DJ Uiagalelei,
Right.
and I just missed his name, DJ Uiagalelei. Think about it. Think about the heritage here, going back to Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson hands off to Trevor Lawrence with a little bit of what's his name mixed in. Who was there for a year?
Kelly Bryant.
Kelly Bryant. Sorry, Kelly. How quickly we forget. A little bit of Kelly Bryant mixed in. Still, that's not bad. He was the bridge. He was the bridge between the generational quarterbacks, and he did well in his own right. But anyway, continuing, and then you go to DJ Uiagalelei, and then you go to, if you get him, you can go to an Arch Manning. I mean, that's 5-star to 5-star to 5-star to 5-star, and that guarantees you that you'll continue to attract the very highest level of offensive talent when you're telling guys around the country, receivers, running backs, especially receivers, hey, you want to catch passes from Arch Manning? I mean, how many times did Clemson use that line when Trevor Lawrence was coming along? You want to catch passes from Trevor Lawrence? You want to come play for us? So, the Clemson recruiting people up there feel like Clemson's in good shape with him here at this stage. That's going to be one of these recruiting cases where you're not going to know a whole lot because the Mannings aren't public people when it comes to the recruiting stuff. The kid doesn't even have a social media account, so he's not out there tweeting everything he's doing and everything he's thinking. And the Mannings, being who they are, they're going to do all this behind their closed doors and continue with their visits. And then eventually, whenever they're ready to decide, they'll make a decision. And Clemson might very well be in it to the very end. What you got, Pat?
Just would hate to leave out the quarterback at Clemson, the first 5-star that actually started this whole trend. You can't forget Taj Boyd if we're going to bring up this discussion. He was also a 5-star out of Hampton, Virginia back in 2009. And yes, he never did beat South Carolina, but he holds many of his all-time records at Clemson.
Yeah, but he wasn't a generational quarterback. He was a good quarterback.
Sure. That 4th and 19 play against LSU in the Peach Bowl, though, will forever go down as what swung the pendulum in Clemson's favor and got them to where they are today.
You know, he eventually changed his number to number 7 at Clemson. Did you know that? He doesn't get that joke, Smitty.
Because Clowney owns him. No, I get it. And look,
I mean, you shook your head like, I don't know what you're talking about, Corn.
No, I shook your head like I couldn't believe you were bringing that up.
Oh, well, I mean, you looked at Taj those years playing South Carolina, and all you could see was the number 7 on his back. Am I right, Smitty?
You know what? Hey, and let's talk about this for a quick second. Deshaun Watson did a lot of the heavy lifting on his own. I think Deshaun Watson doesn't even get enough credit in Clemson history because of the heights he led Clemson to and the level of recruiting. They were recruiting really well prior to that. They had gotten their Sammy Watkins, DeAndre Hopkins. They'd gotten a lot of great players. But when Watson was able to do what he did against Alabama, I think that made the road a little bit easier for Trevor Lawrence. And as you said, and easier for DJ and potentially easier for the next one that follows, whether it's Arch Manning or whomever it is. But, we're talking about it, and I'm thinking back to how all that played out. Deshaun Watson was carrying Clemson for a little while. I don't even know that he gets enough credit for what he accomplished in his time there.
Okay, so we'll see what happens here with Sir Arch Manning moving forward. South Carolina had some quarterbacks come through. One in the 2023 class, Joshua Jones, 6'1", 190, Fayetteville, North Carolina, dual threat quarterback out of Westover High. And in the spring season, shortened season, 570 yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. He worked out for Marcus Satterfield at USC Saturday, and he thinks he did well. He called the day phenomenal and amazing. He enjoyed the campus, the atmosphere, the coaches. He ran a 4.6, but he says he can do better than that. And he said when it came to the quarterback drills, he felt like he held his own, enjoyed throwing to some talented receivers, picked up a lot of knowledge from the Gamecocks. He's looking forward to coming back and working with Satterfield again. He also got a chance to visit facilities and was really impressed with the weight room. Now, so Satterfield, among 2023 quarterbacks, he's offered Tad Hudson of Cornelius, North Carolina, Carson Black of Nation Ford, Dylan Lonergan of Snellville, Georgia, and Eli Holston of Zachary, Louisiana. Jones is hoping that his performance will get him an offer from South Carolina. He thinks he's factoring into their thinking right now based on what he has done. And he camped at Duke on Sunday. He's going to camp at Clemson, NC State, Wake Forest, East Carolina, North Carolina A&T, James Madison, and Brown. And he plans another camp outing with the Gamecocks. Cornerback Jacoby Henderson, 5'10", 187 from Catawba Ridge. He camped at Clemson Thursday, USC Friday. Again, he's camping for offers from those guys. And he said both schools like him. He said Clemson told him they'll stay in touch. He said USC was really excited to see him in person. He said he impressed them at the camp. He's going to build a relationship with them. He won almost all his reps. He really paid attention to detail, he said. He got encouraging words from Mike Reed, Torian Gray, coaches there at Clemson and USC, respectively. He has offers from Coastal, Kent State, Army, Akron, Central Michigan, Marshall, Miami of Ohio, Middle Tennessee. An official visit this weekend to Central Michigan, and then Marshall officially on June 25th. Central Michigan was the first school to offer him, he said, and they have been showing a lot of genuine interest. He's also going to Virginia Tech June 10th, then Liberty, then Duke, then Wake Forest, then Vanderbilt June 19th, then Middle Tennessee, and then Georgia Tech. So South Carolina, no secret, they've made Oscar Delp of Cumming, Georgia, their top priority at tight end, as have a lot of schools, including Clemson. However, the Gamecocks had an interesting athlete in to work out for them end of last week. Peyton Strickland, 6'3", 220 from Goffstown, New Hampshire. Right now, he's been on really no one's radar except New Hampshire, which has offered. But he has a connection in that he has family that lives in Irmo, and his family there, they are friendly with the former Gamecock star linebacker, Corey Miller. So he sent video to Miller, who reviewed it and told him it looked good enough to send on to USC, which he did. And he was able to get invited to come down for a camp this past week and work out for the Gamecocks and work out for Eric Kimry. And so
he felt he did really well. He felt like he showed him some good things. He had a high catch percentage. Said he caught everything that was within his wingspan. And he's a big guy, and he runs fast in a straight line, and he can jump extremely well. So he showed all this to South Carolina. He knows players out of New Hampshire don't get a lot of recruiting love from schools in the Southeast. But he's hoping that he impressed South Carolina enough that at least they will consider him as things play out with their tight end offers. So he's just sort of in a wait-and-see situation. He's also a discus thrower. He won his state championship in that event, and he set a school record with a throw of 156.5. He also ran a 4.67 40 and had a 35-inch vertical at the USC camp. So he's got a lot of athletic skills. All right, some other notes. Clemson's in the top 10 with running back Trevor Etienne of Jennings, Louisiana, brother of Travis. Penn State, Georgia, Florida, Florida State, Alabama, LSU, Texas A&M, Auburn, and Tennessee are also in there. USC's hosting its first officials starting today. Linebacker Abdul Carter, running back Ramon Brown, and defensive tackle Felix Hickson. The Gamecocks will have many more officials in this weekend. Clemson target safety Keon Sabb took an official to Penn State over the weekend. He'll be at Clemson this weekend. 2024 defensive tackle Heaven Brown Schuler of Atlanta was at Clemson yesterday, at USC last week. Lawrence receiver Jaden McGowan, who's very fast, was at USC Saturday for some camp work. 2023 quarterback Malachi Singleton of Kennesaw, Georgia, also camped at Clemson Saturday. Also, 2023 quarterback Nico Imaleva of Downey, California, second cousin to Uyangalele, was in, and quarterback Eli Holstein of Zachary, Louisiana, another 23 quarterback who was in. Uyangalele's younger brother, 23 defensive tackle Mateo, he was at Clemson over the weekend, and he was offered by the Tigers. 2023 tight end Ty Lockwood of Thompson Station, Tennessee, was at Clemson on Saturday. He was at USC Friday. An intriguing quarterback, 2023 Liam Appler, 6'5", 195, was at Clemson Saturday. He was at USC on Friday. Chapin offensive tackle Chase Swigert was at Clemson Saturday. He was at Georgia today. 2024 offensive tackle Josiah Thompson of Dillon was at Clemson Saturday. USC and Kentucky have offered him. Clemson offered five-star 23 receiver Brandon Ennis, Fort Lauderdale, number one receiver in his class. 2023 four-star corner Ethan Nation of Roswell, Georgia, was offered by Clemson. Clemson offered 2023 cornerback A.J. Harris of Phoenix City, Alabama. 2023 linebacker Troy Ford Jr. of Savannah was at USC Saturday. He has an offer. 2023 receiver Chris Lawson of Ridgeview camped at USC Friday, as did 23 corner Amer Farrell of Lake City, Florida. USC offered 23 defensive tackle Will Norman of Oakdale, Connecticut. He was in on Saturday. 2024 offensive tackle defensive end Cam Pringle of Woodland was at USC on Saturday, and he was at Florida today and was offered by the Gators. USC offered 24 tight end defensive end Jack Larson of Charlotte. T.L. Hanna linebacker Fletcher Cothran was given a PWO offer from USC. 2023 Dutch Fork receiver Devin Hyatt was offered by Alabama. 23 quarterback Carson Black of Nations Ford offered by Cincinnati. 23 corner Myson Kelly of Daniel offered by Louisville. He camped at Clemson last week. USC offered receiver Kylick Horton of Clarendon Hall after he worked out in camp. Very fast, plays multiple positions. Clemson target cornerback Toriano Pride took his official to Ohio State over the weekend. 23 receiver Jaden Robinson, Lake City, Florida, was at USC Saturday. Florida today. 23 defensive end to Marion Parker, Phoenix City, Alabama, was at Clemson over the weekend. 23 quarterback Jalen Patterson, Lenore, North Carolina, was at USC and Clemson for camps over the weekend. 24 running back linebacker Sammy Brown, Commerce, Georgia, will be at Clemson Thursday. 23 defensive tackle Joel Starlings of Richmond is at USC today. Linebacker Carter Wyatt of Charlotte, North Carolina, was at USC this morning. They've not offered. They do like him. They'd like to see him practice and work out, but he's had hand surgery, and he can't work out. There is interest both ways. He took an official to Duke last weekend. Receiver Jaden Gibson of Winter Garden, Florida. He visited USC today. He was at Florida last week. And Malden cornerback Jaden Lucas was at North Carolina over the weekend for an official visit, and he goes to Clemson this weekend, unofficial. Clemson having their elite retreat this weekend, and Lucas will be one of the premier players there for that. Whew. That's all we got for now, but there'll be more in about 5 minutes popping up somewhere, I'm sure. Stay with us. We'll be back after the break.
The future of golf is waiting for you at the Players Club. Rain, shine, or after dark, you can enjoy the game of golf anytime at Columbia's Indoor Country Club. The Players Club delivers the most realistic golf experience and offers more than 90 championship courses. Play or practice with the same state-of-the-art full-swing simulators used by Tiger Woods and Jordan Spieth. Visit MainCourseSC.com to book a bay and become a player today at the Players Club, part of the Main Course, 1626 Main Street in Columbia. There are many things to like about the Carolinas, and one of those is Founders Federal Credit Union Founders Online. The Founders app and using your Founders cards and digital wallets are just some of the perks you'll have at your fingertips. And with over 30 locations, we're always closed. Visit RelaxJoinFounders.com or visit one of our office locations to see if you qualify for membership with Founders. Relax with Founders. Services require credit evaluation. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. I love sports, and I've helped people for over 30 years. Contact me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com when the insurance company won't pay your claim or you have complicated issues. Some other business causes your business to lose money, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. When you lose a relative and find out you got cut out of a will or don't get what was promised. When you have serious injury, like from a wreck or mishap or on the job, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
You're listening to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. We're back in a moment.
Enjoy life to the fullest with tasty peanuts that pack a lot of flavor. When it comes to eating peanuts, the research is clear. Peanuts improve your health. Peanuts, a snack that gives back. Crack some open today for a nutritious, sustainable, and earth-friendly treat. Be sure to stop by your local grocery store produce section to pick up a bag of roasted in-shell peanuts. Brought to you by the South Carolina Peanut Board. Visit aboutpeanuts.com for delicious peanut-based recipes.
Hey, folks, mortgage rates have dipped to their lowest levels in recent history. And with home values up in many areas, now may be the perfect time to refinance your home. Whether you're looking to lower your monthly payments, free up cash for home improvements, or just pay off your home faster, a quick call to the one and only Stuart Wingo of Ameris Bank could save you money. If you're looking for competitive rates and exceptional service, call Stuart Wingo, 803-319-1777. That's 803-319-1777. You will save money just like I have so many times over the years. You can also visit him, amerisbank.com/Stuart Wingo. Stuart Wingo, the man with the plan for all your mortgage needs.
Life. It has its ups and downs. Sometimes it's little things like hitting every red light or dropping your cell phone. Maybe it's the bills, rent, or pressure at work. But when it comes to the South Carolina Education Lottery, you should never feel like playing will solve everything. The lottery is a game. It's played for fun. So set a dollar amount. Expect not to win and make sure responsibilities, family, friends, and work come first. Visit playresponsiblysc.com.
Yeah, we brought that one out just for you, Smitty, considering you're an old headbanger baller yourself and you enjoy, some of that really hard stuff.
That's what I'm going after the show.
Both in your glass and in your ears, the hard stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm going to a club right after this.
Dallas Baptist leading Oregon State, bottom of the ninth, 8-5. Is that game over? It looks the way, was DBU the home team here? They're listed below, normally indicating the home team, and it says bottom of the ninth. Did they score 3 in the bottom of the ninth to win 8-5? I don't know. We can check. Nebraska up on Arkansas 2-0. That's the Oregon State DBU. Of course, that's the connected regional to the one out of Columbia. And
it's a final. You're right, Corn.
Is it a final?
Yeah, Dallas Baptist over Oregon State. So Dallas Baptist moves on.
Yeah, I'm looking at the NCAA scoreboard. They don't do a real good job of making it clear on things. I mean, they should not have indicated they were in the bottom of the ninth with the score 8-5. Like, to me, that indicates that they scored 3 runs in the bottom of the ninth. Not that the game was already – it was 8-5 going to the ninth. Idiots. Typical NCAA. Where were we? Mississippi State beat Campbell 6-5. That's done. South Florida in the deciding game beat South Alabama 6-4. Ole Miss has moved on, beat Southern Miss 12-9. I said Mississippi State's moved on, beat Campbell 6-5. All right. Quickly to the phones. We go to Stan the Tiger Man. Stan the Tiger Man in New Ellington. Hello, Stan. Good to hear from you.
Corn, I tell you what, I know I don't have much time, but I just had to get on that. I commend old Smitty for being back, because they needed somebody on there with the baseball expertise, right? No, I'm just thinking, man, that's what that other fella made out like. Now, what I wanted to open your horizon, Corn, I know you're not much on the women's stuff, but, buddy.
Wait a minute. Now, don't make me sound like a pig.
No, I agree with you on the basketball, but if you need to take and watch us women's softball, Florida State.
Can't watch it. I can't watch it. I can't watch it.
Give it a chance, man.
No,
Florida
I
State beat
glanced at
Alabama. Wait a minute now. Florida State beat Alabama 2-0 last night. They got them up 4-0 now, and it is really good. They into it. They got good sports. It's quick. Go 7 innings. I promise you, I never have watched it much up to this year. I'm just saying, be open-minded enough now. You're a big sports man.
Well, but here's the problem. You talk about a sport where it's dominated by strikeouts, right? I mean, they almost never put the ball in play.
I tell you, last night it was 0-0, and they won 2-0. And now Alabama had the ace pitcher, and they done hit a home run. It is good, Corn. It's exciting, really. I'm serious. But, Smitty, it is good to have you back, and I love y'all. And I know what I like about you, Corn, and y'all's show. It's not like the rest of them other fake news places. It kind of, if I was going to classify you, it'd be like the Fox. Y'all bring out the stuff, buddy, the true stuff.
Thank you, my friend. Always good hearing from you. Yeah, I can't watch the softball stuff either. I just can't watch it. I have other things. I'd rather watch wrestling, which I'm starting to watch more and more of, to be honest with you, is wrestling on Fox Sports. Coastal Carolina announced today that they're going to have full attendance for football in the fall. Marion High School has named their athletics director, Brian Hennessy, as their new head football coach. And let's see, what other note? We got Alabama extended Nick Saban through 28. Yeah. He'll be 87, but he'll still be, his hair will look good. He'll still be intimidating all the writers in Alabama. Now, he won't be 87, but he'll be up there. But,
he's 70 now. He just turned 70. So he would be 78 or so.
Yeah, just a message to all those 5 stars out there. Saban's going to keep on coaching. If you're looking to go to Alabama in 22, 23, 24, they plan on Saban being your coach. Barkley Radebaugh, Charleston Southern, announced his former star player, Saw Nimley, who's been an assistant coach, is now going to be the assistant head coach. Hey, you coming back tomorrow night, Smitty?
I'll be here.
Hey, great. Maybe everything will work and will be much smoother, like a baby's behind. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Press that button, home stew.
WQXL.